Greetings and welcome to my new calculus channel once again. My name is John Gabriel, and today I'm going to be talking about Gödel's theories, in particular the popular rot known as his incompleteness theorems. They're not actually theorems, they're fake theorems because they've never been proved and they're based entirely on ill-formed concepts. So let's I'm going to give you a link to this article which you can read on academia, but I'm going to work from the article itself in PDF form. So in my article, which is not a long article, all the text in blue font is either from the Britannica or a mainstream source of knowledge dispensation, such as the one from Stanford. So before we can begin to expose the absolute rot of Gödel and his fake theorems, we need to understand some of the many obfuscated terminologies and professional hand-waving that is so ubiquitous in anything Gödel-related. So, axiom. According to the cranks of mainstream mathematics academia, by the way, I found a rather funny image when I searched on Google for Gödel, and here he is with what the F, F standing for something known as a formal system, okay? Right, so according to the cranks of mainstream mathematics academia, an axiom is a claim accepted as true without any systematic derivation of proof, or proof. In other words, a belief. You might think that the belief belongs only in the realm of religion. However, the entire foundations of modern mathematics is based on belief. And the Church of Mathematics Academia is indeed a cult, and nothing about it even remotely resembles the science that it was intended to be. So you can't have something called a formal system without axioms. That's what they claim. I have proved beyond any doubt that no axioms are present or required in Euclid's Elements. Okay, and there's a link to it right here. So they say that in any axiomatic system, the primitive symbols are undefined. Well, there are no undefined symbols or concepts in Euclid's Elements. Even the primitive concepts are defined, and all other symbols are defined in terms of them, okay? So fortunately, all the definitions in Euclid's Elements can be well defined, meaning that the symbols derived therefrom do not rely on axioms or a set of beliefs. So, of course, when mainstream mathematics academics, who are invariably fools, cannot understand, then I suppose all that's left is belief. In sound mathematics, the concepts of point, line, etc. are all well-defined concepts, including the primitive concepts whence they are systematically derived. So, what is a formal system? By definition, a formal system is one which is established in accordance with a set of principles or procedures, according to which something is done. So why the actual adjective formal was chosen is due to several reasons. The primary reason is that it adds an extra layer of obscurity and obfuscation through its redundancy. In a genius mind like mine, a redundant adjective immediately triggers my bullshit detector, which is very advanced. A secondary reason is that it invokes a fearful reaction in the minds of the unsuspecting and naive, similar to anticipation of unpleasant consequences from higher authority. Now, sound mathematics requires no rules or laws or authoritative orders. These are best left to lawyers and the clergy, both variants of human scum. One simply cannot mix rational thinking with laws, decrees, and beliefs. By definition, rational thinking is based purely on sound reason. Everything else is nonsense. And I haven't even begun to outline the garbage theory that has grown from these toxic ideas, and already its foundations have crumbled. So turning a blind eye, let's continue a little further. From the primitive symbols, it says, certain formulas are defined as well-formed, and there is not even a definition of well-formed, some of which are listed as axioms, and rules are stated for inferring one formula as a conclusion from one or more other formulas taken as premises. So first of all, excuse me, formulas cannot be defined because once again, by definition of formula, A formula is a fact about mathematical symbols which in turn represent sound concepts, okay? So, but how are sound concepts discerned? So in this link here, you'll see that I was the first to produce a guide for what it means to be a well-formed concept. It so happens that a group of orangutans who imagine themselves to be mathematicians decide on what is sound and what is not. It's called mainstream mathematics academia, or the Church of Mainstream Mathematics Academia, or the Big Stupid. Strangely enough, they have no rubric or formal system for determining well-formed concepts. It's just what they discern on their whimsical beliefs on the fly. Seems they only begin to acquire a sense of urgency when their bullshit becomes unduly complex. So they continue. They say a theorem within such a system is a formula capable of a proof through a finite sequence of well-formed formulas, each of which either is an axiom or is inferred from earlier formulas. And of course, this here leads to a contradiction later on where they begin to talk about consistent formal systems and inconsistent formal systems, as you'll see shortly. In sound mathematics, every formula is provable. Just imagine if the ancient Greeks possessed the same shitful brains as the mathematics academics of the last 2,000 years. There'd be no geometry, no arithmetic, no algebra, nothing that one can confidently call a science. The fact that one realizes the constant pi when attempting to measure a circle's circumference using its diameter as unit has nothing to do with formal systems. So the Stanford website says a formal system, and now pay attention to this, a formal system is complete if for every statement of the language of the system, every can't be to begin with, because according to the previous definition, it says a finite sequence of well-formed formulas. So every automatically goes out of the window. Either the statement or its negation can be derived, and they seem to think that derive and prove mean the same thing in the system. A formal system is consistent if there's no statement such that the statement itself and its negation are both derivable in the system. So only consistent systems are of any interest in this context. For it is an elementary fact of logic that in an inconsistent formal system, every statement is derivable, and consequently, such a system is trivially complete. Now, furthermore, they appear to think that even inconsistent formal systems have relevance, since they claim such a system is trivially complete. So, the statement of the first incompleteness theorem is this: any consistent formal system F within a certain amount of elementary arithmetic, within which a certain amount of elementary arithmetic can be carried out, is incomplete. There are statements of the language of F which can neither be proved nor disproved in F. F is supposedly the formal system, or just the system. Formal is redundant. If there are statements that can neither be proved nor disproved, then how can anyone claim a priori that such a system is consistent from its very definition? Stop and think about that, okay? A formal system is consistent if there is no statement such that the statement itself and its negation are both derivable in the system. The definition does not say anything about certain statements. It clearly states no statement. Moreover, if there are ghost statements in the system, then the definition is nonsense. What I'm telling you is that incorrigibly stupid mainstream academics can't even grasp the absurdity and circularity of their drivel. The theory all gets increasingly complex with new notions, such as recursiveness, representability. All these notions arise because of the big elephant in the room. That is the bullshit concept of infinity, okay? Infinity cannot be reified in any way whatsoever. But in order to even consider any of Gödel's delusional theories, one must accept infinity as a well-formed concept. You should ask yourself, what worth is there in studying such utter garbage when even the initial premises of the theory are provably full of holes? There is much you have to accept on belief, even if it fails the basic tests of reason. In such theory, facts are what the authors want them to be, It's an alternate universe filled with delusional ideas that don't exist in any well-formed way. Thankfully, the ancient Greeks, whose clarity of thought was unmatched by any before or after, developed their knowledge based on reason and reason only. Okay? So, I've read this article, but I felt that that was the best thing to do because honestly, if you waste your time studying anything about Gödel's garbage, you're really not accomplishing anything, okay? And at the end of the day, you're not going to realize any new knowledge because everything that Gödel came up with is based on very precarious foundations, namely the garbage that came out of Georg Cantor's mind, set theory and ZFC axioms, okay? So I'm going to stop here. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, click like, and spread the news. And if you want to comment in the section or ask a question, please don't ask more than one question at a time. And that's pretty much it. My name is John Gabriel. This is a New Calculus channel. Till next time, goodbye.